Hey y'all, what's going on? It's Barb Meets World, and we are here to discuss the Real Housewives of Atlanta's season 17, episodes 3 and 4, which just so happen to be entitled Rum, Ruptures, and Redemption. And then we also have Where's the Beef and the Budget. Before we get into all that though, y'all, you already know I need you guys to like the video for me. It helps me and my channel in terms of the algorithm. It helps me attract new subscribers such as yourselves. If you are not a current subscriber, hit the subscription button, become a Barb's babe. I would love to have you. Also, drop down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of my commentary as well as these episodes. Don't forget to hit your notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. Also, share me with all of your people near and far. And let's jump right into this recap and review. Hey, y'all. I know. Your girl's been missing action just a little bit, just a touch. Life has been lifing, but in a really good way, y'all. It's actually been very hectic, but in all the best ways possible, if you could imagine. I will get more specific about that in the near future. Just make sure you're following me on all of my socials that are scrolling along the bottom of the screen, so you can be in the know about all things involving me and other facets of my life outside of these recaps, these reviews, these, reality shows, all this type of stuff. Just make sure you're following me on there too, so you don't miss out on anything. But as always, when I do these two episodes at a time, y'all know that I'm just probably going to hit some of the key points from last week's episode, and then we can get a little bit more in depth with this week's episode. How you guys feel about the season? It's still very early. Obviously, we can't say, well, I feel like we can't say it's a chop, flop, or a hit just yet. Still very much open-minded. There is a couple different topics that I'm over, if I can be so for real with you guys. But for the most part, I'm still keeping an open mind, and I still think it's giving us something to talk about. So y'all let me know in the comments. Hey, brother. My brother So Debonaire's in here. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Go over there and like his videos up and do all the things. Tell him I sent you. These episodes though, y'all, I feel like last week, I want to say a lot of people were saying, oh, Kelli wasn't in the episode. Like, this is why we don't need her. She don't really bring nothing. And then fast forward to this week, and we didn't get much of Drew in this episode. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I do feel like this happens all the time on different shows. I feel like sometimes this person might not be in this episode, or that person might not be in this episode. I can't think of a specific episode or person off the top of my head, but I didn't really feel like that was so bizarre, especially with the cast this large. We do have 8 full-time housewives plus a friend. So I don't really feel like that's weird for us to not catch 1 or 2 people here and there. If it keeps being a trend though with the same person, then that's when I feel like they should be scared. They should be looking for a second job or a third job in this economy, actually. But let's jump into it. Don't want to make this too long. Like I said before, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the things. Let's jump on into it. So last week's episode, we saw K. Michelle was very much recovering from the surgery that she had to undergo to get the infection out. Unfortunately, she's never going to be 100% clear of the silicone, of the substances that she put into her body. She'll never be 100% able to just get that all out of her system, unfortunately. And that's just why we have to be so cognizant of the things that we do put in our bodies and the procedures that we do the elective procedures, let me just add that word in there, that we partake in. I'm very much pro do whatever you want with your body, y'all, as long as it's safe, of course. And at the time, that's just what she felt like she wanted to do. It was something that she knew she didn't need necessarily. She always had something back there, but she just fell into this idea of thinking that that's what she needed to do. And all these years later, she's still having to deal with the ramifications from that decision. So she comes fresh out of surgery. She's explaining how the doctors had to remove the infected tissue. Like I said, it's ongoing. It's scary. I do feel like it's a scary thing to, especially as she said, she was just sitting there and all she knows is she stood up, everything was soaked. So you don't even know how your body's gonna respond. Like I would feel a way about that too. But she's taking it in strides. Her team was there. They got that face beat and she was up and out of there. She was rolling. So she's like, at the end of the day, I don't have to look like what I am going through. And I couldn't agree with that more. That's very much how I like to operate. So I'm cool with how she's moving. Right back to filming. Then we get this pedicure meetup. And that's kind of where the problem starts. The major problem, I should say, in this episode, y'all. We have K. Michelle meeting up with Porsha, Cynthia, and Phaedra. And she's, of course, explaining what happened during her emergency surgery. And she mentions sitting in that puddle, and she's, referring to that whole situation. And then, boom, before we know it, that's when Porsha interrupts to say, a miscarriage? And they were kind of, was there other people in there? They were kind of in their own, area of the salon, I would say. But right off the bat, this comment obviously lands very wrong. The timing, the tone, everything about it was very wrong. That's how Kay felt. And she plays it off or whatever. She keeps it cute and cool, whatever. But in her confessional, she's very much like, girl, what? Like, are we serious? And especially because, according to her, Porsha already knew her situation. She already knew what she had been dealing with. And not only did she know what she was dealing with, but later on in the episode, we also find out that Kay was also aware of what Porsha was also going through with her boobs too. So we have this conversation, girl. You know what's up. And on top of that, you also know I am trying to conceive. I have been really wanting a child, a daughter specifically, for a long time now. So why would you go ahead and just throw that out there? I'll kind of save the rest of my thoughts on who was right, who was wrong, actually, I shouldn't say who was right and who was wrong, because I don't really feel like this is a matter of right and wrong and all that, as much as just my analysis on what exactly occurred, I feel like, in this moment. But that's just what happened in the salon portion. And like I said, in the confessionals, Kay, she was explaining how she felt annoyed and she was really confused by Porsha's comments. And she does admit that she didn't react in the moment, but she decided to take it to social media instead. So we're gonna get more and more into that here, y'all. And so from there, we also get into the whole Pinky and Phaedra of it all. And, wait, what? Wait, this is not the right. Hold on, y'all. I don't know why my notes are all over the place. What is going on? Oh, no. Then we get a scene with Drew and Angela. Drew drops by Angela's house, and I forgot to put the picture up here. Oh, I'm about to kick myself. I forgot to put the picture up here. But I was like, girl, what is up with that quick check struggle charcuterie situation that Angela had going on? No, absolutely not, girl. We know you could do better. Don't ever try it again. Her daughter, Amari, she's staying with her. And I don't feel bad about saying this because she's 25. She's an adult child. And if it was anybody else's adult child, we would be asking the same thing. I think we started to kind of look sideways and kind of form these questions last season. But right now I'm thinking, girl, like, what is really going on? Because not only did she go off and get married unbeknownst to her mother, but now she's not living with her spouse, with her wife. She's here with Angela. Angela's, happy about that. This is giving her time to reconnect with her and whoop-de-woo. But what's really going on? Like, what, huh? Like, why aren't they together? Like, what is seriously going on for real? I just, inquiring minds want to know. Angela, talk to us. But they start talking about, of course, Black comes up, and Drew, I'm really confused about Drew, and this is even stemming to present day, what we're seeing in the blogs and in the media and stuff like that. Because on one hand, Drew is acting like she's working so much. She's acting like she's all over the place. She's getting up. She's on planes. She's over here. She's working. She's come back. But I don't really feel like I'm seeing the fruits of her labor so much so. And this is not me trying to count anybody's pockets, y'all, but they're on a show. We are analyzing their lives. They're opening up themselves to our analysis. So I'm just going to talk about what I see, and what I see is just not adding up. And I feel like that, again, is one of the major reasons why a lot of us have an issue with Drew and have had an issue with her on the show, is because we don't know who the real Drew is. We don't know what's really going on with her. We don't know what's fake, what's not. Is she really is an imposter syndrome? Like, what is it when it comes to her? And it's hard to follow. So that's why a lot of times I don't even get too hung up on what she has going on, because I'm not about to go through the mental gymnastics of trying to figure out what is really happening with her, y'all. Anyway, again, we know Angela lost the $2 million in real estate, and she's just trying to figure stuff out. But that's really all we got from that scene. Moving on, Porsha, Cynthia, or I already said the Porsha, Cynthia, Phaedra, K. Michelle meetup. We already talked about that, right? Shamea. Between this episode 3 and episode 4, y'all, I know I'm not the only person when I say it is so goddamn awkward seeing Gerald in these scenes, because like give us nothing. And it's obvious he doesn't want to film. So I'm just like, just don't even have him film even a little bit, because it's going to open up the conversation of whether or not he's truly happy with her, whether or not they got, trouble in paradise. It's just going to open up the conversation for so many assumptions and judgments and rumors to pop up, Shamea. So just don't even attempt to film with him at all, I feel like is what she should be doing, because she's trying to like pull it out of him and it's just not working. They're dropping off their daughter at school, and he is not impressed by her business idea with this rum. And if I was her, I would respect his opinion, because he is somebody who isn't new to business. He's been in his industry for quite some time. He has a successful business. So she really should take heed to his warnings. I do feel like it's important to believe in your product and to sometimes still go after things, even if others don't see it. I'm definitely a dreamer in that regard, y'all. Don't get me wrong. But she's not even really coming from that angle, I would say, because it's like she doesn't even fully believe in herself or speak from a place of seeming like she even knows what direction she's trying to take it or whatever. Like, I don't feel like she's really learning through this process. She's just kind of moving through the motions and hoping for the best. And I can understand if she was more visibly applying herself, then I would be like, you know what? Screw it. Do what you got to do. You believe in it. You're actually backing it with research, with competitive analysis, with statistical analysis. Like, can we get some of those elements? Like, what is your business plan? Like, can we actually see those types of things? Then I feel like I'd be like, oh, okay. I mean, hey, as long as you believe in it and you have the research to back it up, then by all means go for it. But she's not even coming to the stage with that, and it's just hard to see it other than something that's going to fail. Sorry. Pinky meets up with her attorney. This whole bankruptcy situation, I think it's downright crazy as fuck that she is has been talking to everybody else besides her husband about filing for individual bankruptcy. And on one hand, I'm like, okay, well, maybe she's doing that to safeguard him and his assets and to make sure that she draws a clear barrier between what she has going on and what he has going on, and trying to make sure that those two entities are completely separate of one another. That's what I'm thinking on one hand. But on the other hand, I'm also thinking that what the fuck is the point of being with somebody if they can't help you in times where you clearly need help, and instead you're consistently saying how you don't want to be a victim, you don't want to be this, you don't want to be that. People, like, it's something new every day, you're overwhelmed, you need this, you need that. And when you actually have somebody there who can help you dig yourself out of this hole, so to speak, or at least be there to provide emotional support, you're not even opening the damn door to let that person in to do that. But I do feel like in that same breath, if the roles were reversed and it was him that was having these issues and he was so beat the fuck down by the stresses of these issues, she would be the first one in line with her checkbook writing down how much he needs and then some. I feel like that's what she would be doing. She just gives me that type of person, and that's why I don't understand why she can't do that same thing. Like, what is the point? Real talk. What is the point of being with a person if you're not even going to receive their assistance? I'm not saying just rely on it all the time and don't do nothing for yourself, but clearly you need help, girlfriend. Like, hello. Anyway. Okay, meets up with Cynthia and Pinky. I feel like in this scene, Cynthia tried to shed some light on how Porsha thinks about things and how she, probably didn't mean anything negative by it and stuff like that. And I think multiple things with this situation can be true, y'all. I do think that on one hand, Porsha does just say stuff. On one hand, I don't see why she would say something like that in a malicious way, because it honestly would just make her look bad, even though she has been one to do stuff and engage in certain behaviors that only make her look bad. But anyway, in this situation, I don't think that she did that and meant any harm, but it was still something that she could have kept to herself, given the situation and given the fact that I do believe Kay has told her about the struggle she's gone through and whatnot. I think I can see certain things on either side when it comes to that. I can. So Cynthia, she's trying to kind of summarize where she thinks she was coming from or whatever, but she also does say, like, she does owe you an apology, so to speak. So I think if you do bring that up to her, then you guys can talk about it and move forward from there. And Pinky says that, she just got too much going on right now. She has Phaedra going around telling people that apparently she eats meat. And that's where we got this comment that we've seen in the trailer about how, oh, I don't believe or trust people that eat dead people or something like that. And I'm just like, I'm all about throwing shade back at somebody who's shaded you. But when she said that, I was a little lost, because I'm like, that's a big accusation to throw at a person. I feel like that's not equal to saying somebody eats meat and they're vegan. I don't feel like that's the same thing as saying, like, oh, yeah, I don't trust somebody that eats dead people. Like, wait, whoa, what are we talking about here? We're talking unethical versus just downright illegal versus like what are you saying, girl? Anyway, I just feel like Pink is the type of person that just like she's going out of her way to place additional stress and pressure on herself. Do you guys get that from her? Let me know in the comments. We then finally get to meet Black. I'm already familiar with him because I actually did order some of his like the handheld hookahs that are nicotine free and whatnot. Wasn't really my vibe. I guess, you know, give me the nicotine. But him and Drew, they go out or whatever. And again, I just can't understand Drew as a person because on one hand, it's like, oh, we're just friends. Oh, we just snuggle. And, you know, it's nothing like that. But then this man is literally telling you what he wants out of the situation. Like, yeah, you guys might be friends today, but he's trying to move down the friends with benefits to let him tell it the wife category. And I feel like that was just, that just is something people say, I feel like, in place of other flirtatious things that they could be saying or other romantic things that they could be saying, because the right person, if they throw that out there, the right person is going to, the right pick me, I should say, is going to eat that up. So he says that she's all like, and I don't know what to think again, because last season, this was supposed to be somebody who you weren't seeing, but then now you are, but you aren't, but you are, but you aren't. I ain't really buying nothing that he's saying because it's just, yeah, he's, and I'm extra, y'all. So don't get me wrong. I can always appreciate the effort of somebody being extra, but I was blinded by the mighty veneers that were up in his mouth, the extra blacked out hairline, it was a lot going on. It's a lot going on for me, but she like it. I love it. He came in there with some gifts, some flowers or whatever for her, some gifts for the kids. I'm like, are we love bombing? What are we doing here? Because it's given ulterior motives. And I should actually, can I even say ulterior motives? Because he literally said in the end, he's like, you know, she's like, you know, oh, what are you're gonna be a friend or whatever? You're gonna be my friend even if I get a man. He's like, I mean, what do you think I'm doing this for? My health? That's the truth. He really did tell you how he felt when he said that, Drew. So no, I girl, anyway. So moving on, Angela shows us and Amari, so to speak. She shows us this new property she has, and it's not quite giving what her other properties have given in the past. That's what Amari says. That's what Amari says. And I have to agree, but at the same time, I don't really think that it was such a atrocity to the eye, because no, do I think this is what she needed to do? No, but it's her money, not mine. I do think it just looked like your regular schmegular house that, like, I don't really think that it was anything so bad. Like, yeah, an abandoned house, yeah, a home that's not lived in is going to have, you know, a little bit of creepy crawlers. Now, if it was completely rodent and roach infested or something like that, that would be a different story, okay? If the roof was caving in and there was water damage and you couldn't walk on the floor without falling through it and seeing daylight up in the corners and if it was all messed up like that, then that would be a different story. But I don't really think it was, like, I think this is manageable. I'm glad she didn't go out there and buy somebody's 15,000 square foot mansion and try to flip that. But overall, no, I don't think that she needed to do this. And a lot of my reason behind saying that, y'all, is because she says that she has her financial business, she has Fangie, she has all these other things. So it's like, why do you feel like you need to just go out and prove this to yourself or whatever? And I do understand her losing her mom, her feeling like she just lost so much in this last year. She just needs one win. But I'm like, can we maybe channel it into something else? Possibly. I really had hoped that she was going to have Angie off the ground by come this season. I thought during the off season it would be up off the ground, but obviously it isn't just yet. Amari, like I said, she's not buying it. And so Angela's just trying to explain herself to her daughter. And I just think that I do think it could be a decent enough like flip. Again, it's not nobody's mega mansion, nothing like that. But I do think that it's one that she should be able to get something off of, as long as she listens to people this time that have her best interest. Moving on. Shamea sitting down with this attorney. She has her sister there for support because we know Gerald wasn't gonna, show up in the scene. That's fine, whatever. No shade, just telling you guys the truth. But this is what I mean. Like, business etiquette, just non-existent. Seriousness, non-existent, because is it Bum, whatever it's called. Y'all let me know. How do you guys feel about that name? It's hard for me to get behind anything that she has going on, y'all. I have to be so for real with you guys, because again, if I saw that she was really doing the legwork and stuff like that, then I could be like, oh, okay, she's serious about this. She's not just trying to make a punchline out of everything. She's actually has something good on her hands. Then I can maybe be like, oh, okay, I understand. But the business major in me is just not seeing how this is going to be successful. And her, what's it called? Her, what am I thinking? The peaches. They don't even have peaches, are not native to Grenada. So you're gonna now import something that, like, just talk about the rising costs, and over, like, the overhead costs and stuff like that, like, and the production costs, like, just constantly going up, when in all actuality you could just do a general flavored rum and then do a launch party where you have a signature peach drink. Did you think? Or you could even have like a recipe on the bottle that the people can then incorporate their own peach schnapps or whatever they need to put in there. I don't know. I don't drink, y'all, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. I don't feel like she needs to go all out and try to actually make it a peach flavor for obvious reasons. But again, when she jumped up and showed her butt and talking about, oh, I need to do the bottle and make it, based off of my butt and all that stuff, and that's where I got the name from. And I'm just like, be so fucking for real, Shamea. Yeah, it's a no for me too, princess. And even if I would, like, and I'm not just saying that because I don't drink, I'm saying that because I think it's going to be some bullshit. Y'all let me know. You buying it? If and when it hits the shelves, let me know in the comments. Pinky and Derek, they don't often have date nights, but when they do, we get it right on our screens, right, y'all? She asked him, would he marry her again? And I too thought he said no or whatever, but that's not what he said. He said he would. I thought he said he wouldn't at first, so I can't even call her out for that. But she gives us the whole breakdown timeline of their marriage again, saying that within their first year of marriage, they actually went as far as to go down to the courthouse, and they was about to get divorced. And then she went to go get out of the car. He was like, you better not get out of the car. She got back in the car, and then they laughed and prayed and he and kissed and went on home. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but oh my God, sorry, y'all. The way in which she explains things. It's like she's trying to convince herself and us, I feel, because it's always accompanied by some like goofy laugh or whatever, or her saying, it's like she's trying to beat us to the punch. She's trying to point out the flaw in her logic before we can. Does anybody else get that from her? I just feel like if that's how you feel, girl, just stand in it. Because someone like me, I'm not laughing with you. I'm laughing at you when you say certain stuff. It's not even her butt. I'm dead. I just still trying to find the chemistry. It's hard. It's hard for me to really not see her as somebody who's just happy to have a man almost. Sorry, I hate to be the one to say it, but that's what it's giving. She's just too eager. And but again, I'm not gonna set it in stone until we get a little bit more from this season. But right now, as it stands, something in the milk ain't clean when it comes to their whole thing. Just saying, y'all. And then the final scene, y'all, we get is the sit down between Kay and Porsha. And I kind of already gave you my thoughts on this before, but they are able to squash it. And by squash it, I mean that Kay is still going to have her third eye on Porsha. And even though she's going to try to believe what she's saying, or not believe, but she's going to accept what she's saying, which is that she didn't mean anything malicious by her saying that. She didn't know what surgery she was talking about, what she was referring to, even though Porsha slips up and almost says the situation the situation that she's been dealing with for 8. Just kidding. Years. Porsha does say that. And Kay also admits to calling Porsha the bimbo, and wasn't surprised by that. Yeah, I pretty much told you guys how I felt about that. So we don't need to get into that. Moving right along, y'all. Let's get more into this week's new episode. So Episode 4, the Pinky Cole Foundation. She established it in, was it 2019 or 2018? Y'all let me know. But she's doing a community give back. This is something she does all the time. And so, of course, this year she's going to have the ladies also pitch in. And when Kelli drops by, she not only meets Pinky's team, but they sit down to chat. And apparently Pinky told each of the ladies, like I said, specifically what to bring. I think I said everybody's pitching in, but she also said, hey, you bring this. Porsha, you bring the backpacks and the other kids' items, etc. Angela, she had undergarments. Everybody had their own things. Was it just me, or was I like, I do feel like she should have split that up a little bit differently, and we'll get more into why later on. Phaedra kind of gave us the explanation as to why maybe she should have split things up a little bit differently, because I'm like, I'm getting book bags and all this school supplies and stuff like that, and you only getting deodorant. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like that was all even. But anyway, moving on. At this point, Pinky is still dealing with her legal issues, such as the $87,000 in unpaid rent, which is for the establishment they're sitting in right to film the scene, y'all. Pinky tells Kelli that, she's also been thinking about filing for bankruptcy or whatever, because as we know, these last couple years have been extremely rough on Kelli in terms of the mess of a divorce she went through and how that impacted her business and stuff. So this is something that she's also been grappling with herself. So I think it's good that they're able to talk to one another about what they're dealing with. I do think that this is why that's the whole point of having, friendships and relationships and stuff like that, right? Is to be able to lean on one another when you're going through similar things. So hopefully that's something that bonds them, but it is Housewives. So we should only time will tell whether or not that happens. And Kelly's like, have you told your husband or whatever? And Pinky's like, and Kelly's like, just from me to you, girl, like you have $100 million man over there. Like you better let that man know what you need from him. Like you God bless you to not have to figure this out on your own. So why are you doing that? And that's what I said just a little bit, maybe 10 minutes ago here, y'all, is why be with somebody who should at a minimum be able to provide you unwavering emotional support, and you're not even leaning on him for that. You're coming to all of us about this, but you're not coming to the main person who should be the first person on your list to tell, because if the roles are reversed and he wasn't telling you this, it will be a motherfucking problem. And y'all know that's exactly what you guys would be down here saying. Don't even lie to me. Y'all know it would be on if the roles are reversed. She would definitely have something to say about it, and she would be the first person trying to cut a check for him. So now that she is in need and he is able to help, so she says or whatever, his what is it, Dave's cheesesteaks or whatever, they're doing well, then he should then step in for her. But she won't even allow him to the respect of knowing what's going on is wild to me. I would be livid if I was him. He took it a lot better than I did later on the episode, because I would be pissed that you were even contemplating this and didn't even respect me enough to come and tell me. Some of you guys might think that is over the top, or you might think like, oh, well, maybe she just needed time to process it before coming to him. Like maybe she, because there are certain types of people that like to kind of have formed a little bit more of how they're going to navigate this problem, and have like a solution maybe that they came up with themselves before coming to a person. On certain things, I do understand that and agree with that. But on something like this, no, I do think it should have been brought up to him when she even was contemplating it, and let alone has made her mind up. Like, girl, what are we doing? She's been a vegan since 2007, despite the narrative that Phaedra's been spreading. But production reminds us that Kelli was saying the same thing. So according to Kelli, she saw Pinky eating a steak. So we're going to kind of get more into this conversation as the episode goes on. But this episode actually surprised me, y'all, because the person that I typically would never see it for, and I still don't see it for her, don't get me wrong, the person that I would be so quick to not believe in most situations is actually the person that I have to admit didn't really put 20 on 10 and just downright lie on someone else in this episode. I was actually shocked that wasn't the person that I put first on my list for once. And obviously, if you watch the episode, you probably already know who I'm referring to. But anyway, so we get another scene, like I just said, y'all, with Gerald. It's like pulling teeth trying to get an answer from this man, or even have him on camera looking interested. I'm like, he don't care about nothing that you're saying, Shamea. Like, he could barely even genuinely compliment you on camera. Like, just take the mic pack off of him and let him go about his bald-headed business. Like, he don't want to be on our screens. How many times does he have to tell us? It's painful to freaking watch at this point. But she's telling him about how Cynthia has invited them on this upcoming girls trip. They're going to go to Dallas because now Cynthia has also partnered with the Maloof family, Adrian Maloof. She's an OG from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's partnered with her on this tequila business, this tequila new line of tequila or whatever. And so Shamea, she's trying to invite Gerald and stuff. Of course, he don't want no parts of it. And she's like, well, I tried. I'm like, just stop. Just stop, because it's only going to make you look bad. It's only going to make you, again, it's only going to open up the conversation for whether or not y'all even like each other, and whether or not he supports you, or it's just going to like the rumors are already out there. They're already starting to stir and stuff like that, Shamea. So take it from somebody who stays in those Twitter comments and stays on social media comments about this type of show, y'all. Or this type of show, Shamea. Just don't even have him even come in even an ounce from here on out. It's only gonna make you look better, okay? And obviously, if you guys have been down here and know how I feel about Shamea, you know that according to me, her image can only go up from here when it comes to being on this show, because I just do not see it for her to be on this show. But that's just me. Anyway, so last season we actually saw her be introduced to this surrogate, and I didn't really have a warm and fuzzy feeling. I didn't really feel like I just didn't see that being the person that she was going to stick with or something like that. There was the energy, something was off there. And lo and behold, the girl had a failed transfer. So that made them have to, pause and reassess and withdraw from going forward with her. They only have one male embryo left, and IVF is not something like that's just some cookie cutter walk in the park type of process. So she's telling Gerald, if this doesn't work, then what are we gonna do? And he's being hopeful. She says he's a glass type full type of person, which I think is I like being with a person that's like that. I am somebody who can be an overthinker sometimes. So I wouldn't ever refer to myself as a pessimist. I'm a realist at the end of the day. And so I do think that's good that he is able to just instill in her the feelings of hope and stuff. But at the end of the day, science, it's just going to be what it's going to be. The outcome is going to be the outcome. I already think the spirit and the universe has already determined what their outcome is going to be. They might not know, but he wants a son. And no, Shamea, I don't think that when he says he wants a son, he's thinking about donor eggs or adoption or anything like that. So yeah, that is maybe a conversation you guys should have had, I don't know, 5 years ago, probably. But only time will tell about that. What else? So over at Porsha's house, I don't know about you guys, but I know for damn sure I was very, 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 very sure that the season premiere, that was the only episode that we were going to get with Mike from Ready to Love. I didn't think that we'd ever see him again on the show, because I don't see why we need to. I'm not buying this between them. Yes, were they a little bit more kissy and touchy in this scene? Yes, but Porsha, move away from us with this, please. She's packing or whatever, and he sent her flowers. She's calling him baby, all this type of stuff. And she's actually having some feelings. She's in her feelings right now because the Duluth house, her original, y'all know the house she bought when she got divorced the first time around. Yeah, that house, she had her mother was living there or whatever. But since the divorce, she now has she has $1 million in equity with that house. And so it'd be a great time for her, according to her realtor, to sell it. She's already gotten 3 offers. So she's emotional over that because of what that house represents in terms of her gaining back her independence. And that's where she had Pilar at originally and all those different things. We know she has no plans of wanting to go back there though at the same time, because she is going to try her hardest to be still in this house that she's in right now. And based on the final scene, y'all, I can kind of understand why. Based on this closet scene, y'all know I love me I love the fashions. I love all the things. I could fill that bitch up myself, Porsha. So I don't even judge you at this point for wanting to stay up in there, as long as you can provide for yourself and you can afford it, then by all means stay up in there or whatever. It is what it is. Everything's water on the bridge with how you got to being in the house at this point. But as it goes for the old house, it's looking like she'll be selling it off. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, that already happened and stuff, because I had seen a post some months back of the same conversation, pretty much, where she was like thanking her realtor on Instagram or whatever. So, and I was wondering then, like, what happened? I thought she was selling the new big house and then she was moving back there, but obviously we know now that that's not what occurred. So she's all crying to him, and then the conversation turns into, well, you know, I have a kid already. I've been married a couple times, divorced. I've lived some life out here. You, on the other hand, you don't got no kids. I don't believe he's been married, right? And he did say that he wanted 3 kids, and she's 44. She's not really trying to hear that right now. I think, like Phaedra said, you got some money for the. I think if the money was moneying and the things was where they needed to be, I'm just saying, I feel like that would be an incentive for her. But in this case, no, there's no incentive for her to even look to wanting to pop anything out for him. And with that being said, they seem to be, he even says, he's like, you know, that's going to be a point of contention, so to speak. There are crosswords with that. So I'm like, see, this is why we don't need this. Like, wrap this up. You know, y'all, it's not real between y'all. Like, why are we even trying to push it? What I did pick up on the second time I watched it, though, y'all, and I'm sure you guys picked up on it too. I don't remember. I mean, I seen people talking about it online, so I guess this did used to happen, but I must have forgot how in this scene, y'all caught how we got a like informal, right in the middle of the mix confessional from her. She was literally talking to the camera, Porsha was. And I was like, was this supposed to be left in? Like, oh, I was shocked by that. But yeah, maybe that's just a part of them trying to take Housewives in a different direction. I mean, I was here for it, but I was like, oh my God, what do we do? Oh my God, like, since when? Since when? You looking at us? Since when? But I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Moving on. Okay. She was also getting ready for the trip. She tells her team how they're about to be going on this girls' trip. And on one hand, she's excited. On the other hand, she's fearful. She does tell them how Porsha apologized. And so hopefully things continue in a positive direction. We have Porsha, Angela, and Phaedra. They're attending this cycling class, y'all. Porsha won. She tells the manager she looks like Sheree. Y'all let me know in the comments if you felt like that lady looked like Sheree. I feel like I know why she said that, but I'm not like, oh my God, you look like Sheree. Like, no, I wouldn't just automatically have thought that off the top of my head, but like, I saw why Porsha said that. Nonetheless, what I didn't understand about this scene was why they were trying to sell it as if they were really working out. And this is coming from somebody who takes cycling classes twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. There's no way in hell that they really took a cycling class, because the way I'd be drenched after a cycling class, the way that I am anything but cute after a cycling class, the way that I want to be on anything else other than somebody's camera after a cycling class, they wasn't really working out. They was not really working out. You cannot convince me that they were really working out at all. But anyway, afterwards, they all gather around, or I shouldn't even say afterwards. Y'all caught how when Phaedra walked up in there, Charles was also dropping Angela off, and he was like, oh wait, you know, do I know you to Phaedra? Which is a nod to last season where Phaedra was going on about how she knew Charles or whatever, and he was like, oh no, chick, you don't know me. Just because you was around me doesn't mean that you know me. Like, you had to put her in check real quick. So they laughed at that. Funny, haha, he. Then they had the cycling class. And then afterwards is when they got around and have a little chit chat. And one, Phaedra, you're talking about you don't want to date nobody else in fitness because you've been there, done that. I don't remember you dating anybody in fitness, Phaedra. I remember you dating somebody in fraud. Because last time I checked, Apollo, come again? Like, he had a legitimate job. If he had a legitimate job, why are you going to jail? If that's the case, okay, but I'll let you live. Anyway, so this is where we start to kind of hear a little bit more about this whole, does Pinky eat meat? Does she not? Whatever. And I'm like, this is where I was just like, wow, okay, well, could Phaedra actually be telling the truth about something for once? And based on, by the end of the episode, y'all, I do feel like I can't even believe I'm about to form the words in my mouth and actually speak and tell you guys that I do think that Phaedra wasn't lying about this for once. I do feel like someone like Shamea was putting 20 on 10 when it comes to this. Oh. Sorry, y'all. I just like froze. So I'm trying to make sure we still good. Okay. But nonetheless, Angela, she chimes in to say that Shamea said that she had a rib joint in the past. And Phaedra, again, this is all news to Phaedra because her and Pinky, they've been on each other for like 15 years, according to her or whatever. So she doesn't recall saying anything about her eating meat. Like, what's the issue? What's the beef? No pun intended. And so when we see the tapes back, what was said was that Pinky used to have a Jamaican restaurant, which she served meat at. And could multiple things be true in this case? Yes, they could. Although Phaedra didn't flat out say that, did there lie just a little bit of an implication of that's kind of weird, or that's rich of her to have had a restaurant that was serving meat and then now she's a vegan. We know that Phaedra sometimes implies and says things without saying them. So could she have been kind of lacing her words with a little bit of that? Yeah. But no, she did not say this lady ate meat. So I think this was a scheme that the Shameas and the Kellys of the world concocted to come to us, I should say, with the rumors and the nastiness and the lies. Okay. So from there, then we have, what's it called? We have, and another thing with this episode, Phaedra said a couple things in this episode that actually, oh my God, I can't even believe I'm saying this. And when I say this, y'all, don't get me wrong. I still don't see it for her on the show, but did she make me laugh like once or twice? Yes, she did. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, sue me. Because when Phaedra said, painting her out to be the Hamburglar should be the least of her issues, I hollered. I'm gonna be honest and say I hollered when she said that, because not the Hamburglar. Oh my good. Actually, that just brought me back to like a personal memory with something. But anyway, so they all talk about their contributions to Pinky's event. Phaedra says that her donations are totaling up to like $4,000 at this point. And they're like, what? Huh? And that's because Pinky asked for vegan formula and vegan formula or whatever. I get it. Your brand is it's all things vegan, right, Pinky? I get it. But are the recipients of said formula even vegan to where now it's totaling up to $4,000? That's why I said I think the donation list should have been divvied up a little bit differently, because I don't. She said they're what, $28, something like that, a can or something. Yeah, there's no deodorant that is out there that I feel like is $28. Well, my deodorant costs like at least 15 or 16 if I'm not mistaken. But still, I do feel like the list should have been disseminated a little bit differently, or the options of what to bring should have been divvied up just a little bit differently. I do. And also, if I was Phaedra, I would be like, and don't get me wrong, y'all, I'm all about donating. I'm all about giving back. I'm all about paying it forward. I'm all about all those things. I am, for real, y'all. Like, for real. But if I was Phaedra, would I kind of be looking at Pinky sideways to be telling everybody that she has a problem with me, or that I've been apparently telling everybody that she eats meat and that we supposedly have like an issue now between us because this, that, and other thing? But in that same breath, she's going to then and be so forward in asking me to bring all this formula and all these donations to her event. Like, I would be like, girl, can you at least give me a call and we talk about this first and foremost? Like, but you can ask me for something else. Like, is that petty of me? I'm just, y'all see where I'm coming from? So Angela meets with her team. They talk about Fangie. And we know Angela, she's been hot. She's been somebody who I thought was very smart in trying to capitalize on on these fans and stuff, and actually promoting a product. One, I did think that they were going to be up off the ground. I did. My word of advice to her, though, is at the end of the day, listen to your team, be smart, especially in a world where people literally, like, I keeps me a fan, okay? I keeps me a fan, and this is actually, I think, a cute fan. If you want the link, it's in my Amazon. Just link to my Amazon storefront. But I hope she does move a lot smarter when it comes to these fans and stuff like that than she did with the homes. She wants to put, $30,000 in the budget for the actual product itself, and then she also wants to allocate at least $10,000 to $15,000 to the marketing component, right? Okay, so her manager is like, okay, well, how much do we need to sell to even break even, to even, yield a profit? And they're asking all the right questions and stuff like that. It gets to the point of Angela saying that she is going to ask Charles for like an investment or whatever. He comes in, obviously, at that exact point. Ha ha, he, like, very coincidental. And she tells him that or they're going to need to put in like $50,000. And then she asked him for 25, and he actually is like, okay, another one of your ideas. But she says, contrary to Barbara belief, whatever, like, he does support her and stuff like that. So I think that's cool. But no, I really hope that this goes far, Angela. I do, because all those houses, like, that really was just not a good look. Like, that was it pains me to even say that you were in that situation, because good Lord, I would still be in a fetal position in my bed, crying my eyes out, more than likely, after losing that much. So moving along, Pinky's mom, she's already said that she's worked 4 jobs, and her father was somebody who was imprisoned for 30 years when she was born. So according to her, she knows how to navigate through tough times, difficult situations, etc., etc. And we find out that Drew isn't going to be attending this event. My question with that is, well, I guess I already know the answer to it, but I just have to call Drew out for not even sending her donations forward. Is there an after show? I didn't watch it. If there was one posted, but Drew, you should at least send the donations. I get you didn't feel well, but I feel like any other respectable housewife on this show would have at least sent the donations. But this is Drew, somebody who's been called cheap a time or two before. I do feel like, based on this situation, that's truly how she is somebody who's kind of cheap. Just saying, Drew, sorry. Mind you, at this time, Porsha's over at Phaedra's house because, as we know, this is all going down. This event is going down. It's being held at Slutty Vegan, and they ain't no vegans, so they over there chowing down on some meat before they hit the road and pull up over there. And as they're talking stuff like that, Aiden comes in. You know, he's like 25 feet tall at this point. Greets Phaedra or greets Porsha or whatever. He's off school by noon on Fridays because they just be off school at noon on Fridays. And they're like, "Yo, what are you gonna do?" Whatever. And he's like, "Oh, I'm about to take a nap." And they were so like both taken aback by this, and I was just kind of like confused, like, okay, tell us about your underlying childhood trauma without telling us your underlying childhood trauma. That's how I felt about it, because I'm like, I didn't really feel like it was anything crazy that he was going to take a nap. Like, again, I could understand if he had to drop out of school early and, you know, help pay the bills, or, you know, you guys were only scraping by and, you know, you needed him to help you watch your other kids and do this and do that and help around the house and stuff like that. But clearly, like, y'all aren't needed for anything. Let the boy take a nap. Like, goodbye. So, and then she said something about how, oh yeah, you know, with boys or whatever, you gotta, sometimes I might just like need to go up to him and punch him, just, you know, so, you know, can't try me and stuff like that. I'm just like, this scene was just very odd to me, but okay. Phaedra's also like, yeah, we're going to the Edgewood location, which is actually the place that's referenced in the bankruptcy. I mean, the fact is a fact. And at this point, if Phaedra feels like she's being lied on, I'm like, dare I say she's actually even an ounce justified in whatever shade she's throwing back at Pinky? Ugh, I can't believe I'm actually sitting here even attempting to see where Phaedra's coming from with her antics. Like, are pigs flying? They must be. Anyway. So we get back over to the event. Derek can't stay. He can't stay because he has some business he needs to take care of his own. Obviously, Pinky wasn't too happy about this. She wanted him to stay. And I'm just like, that's what I mean. Like, I'm not saying like cause a scene about it or anything like that, but she just seems like she's used to like reducing herself for everybody else around her. And I feel like that shows up in situations like this. And then also her just, not even wanting to ask him anything or be a burden or anything like that. Like, we need to really go down memory lane when it comes to her. And even, hey, the father situation. I'd honestly rather hear about how you guys have reconnected or not since him having served 30 years or whatever, right? I would rather hear about that than for her to continue to bring up this bankruptcy every 5 minutes. I'm a little bankruptcied out already, and we're all on episode 4. Just saying. I'm also a little horseshit out too, because Kelli is quick to bring that up in her confessional, and I feel like even production was like, girl, like, are you done? We don't. Okay. And I feel like they said that because ultimately it's kind of played out calling Porsha like a whore and stuff like that. Like, even if that's the case, like, it doesn't change anything about her. That's not going to make people like, oh my gosh, let's blacklist her. She's a whore. Oh no. Like, let's cancel her. She's a whore. Nobody cares. Like, it doesn't do anything. Like, nobody's not seeing it for her any less because of that. So she's not skipping a beat because of that. So Kelli, I would find something else to jab her about. Just saying. What else? Oh, Kay, you're saying to Kelli how Porsha did the same thing to you or whatever, but like it's giving like, actually, honestly, both of them are like, you guys are both keeping this up now. So it's really just looking like y'all are the bothered ones, especially when you guys are appearing to move on or whatever. And then we have these scenes when Porsha's not present or whatever. And now you're saying that you see her differently, or if she did you the same way, or blah, blah, blah. Like, then don't accept the apology at all. Then don't act like it's cool when she shows up or whatever. That's how I feel. That's how I would handle somebody who I have an issue with. Ooh, it's getting kind of long, y'all. So let's wrap this up. So Shamea, they all start to disseminate the donations once everybody pulls up, and Pinky, she brings up this $89,000 debt and how she could wipe her behind with that. She's sure they heard about it, yada yada yada. And this is what I mean again about, it's like she's trying to beat us to the punch, or she's trying to like air out her dirty laundry or her skeletons before anybody else can, which I typically always respect about, especially when people are on these types of shows. But it's just like, you say that, but then you follow it up with, you could wipe your butt with that or whatever. And it's just like, okay, then do that then pay. Like, which side is it? It's either this is taking such a toll on you, oh my gosh, like, or you could, you could just be so unbothered by it in the same breath. It's like, are you bothered or unbothered? Y'all feel me? So this whole Shamea versus Phaedra situation, well, one, this is where I had to get off the bus with Phaedra, because it's like, girl, on one breath you're saying that Shamea didn't like you, or you didn't know it was like anything or whatever, and it's just like, that's really not the energy that I've seen between you guys, even when you came back last season. Even though if Shamea didn't like you, she has every reason not to like you. I mean, we do remember the whole debacle that Shamea also got dragged into when it came to her being on the show in the past, and the accusations and the things that Phaedra said about her in the past. She has every right to still be upset with you if she wanted to, but I don't feel like that's where she was coming from. But where I do think you were coming from, Shamea, is a place of mess and malice, because you and Kelli heard whatever you wanted to hear and spread whatever you wanted to spread when it came to whether or not Phaedra said that Pinky ate meat. Again, I find it crazy that I'm actually siding with Phaedra more so on this matter, but we heard it back. Like, come on now. And Pinky, you're the person who brought up this issue with Phaedra off the bat. So for you to then try to overtalk and tell them, not right now, this ain't the time, this ain't the place, we're not about to do this right now. Like, maybe we could do that in Dallas, but we're not doing this right now. You are actually a person that brought it up first, though. So do you really think you're going to be able to say what you said and nobody was going to respond to it? Like, nobody was going to call you on it and say, like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, you should have just kept your mouth quiet, your mouth shut, if you didn't want to have them going back and forth at your event. Just saying. Now, where I felt like Shamea or Phaedra was reaching was when it came to this comment that Shamea made supposedly about her as a dig at her kids. I don't feel like that was a dig at Phaedra's kids whatsoever. I just think that had everything to do with her just knowing Cynthia more as a person, as a mom. She has girls. Cynthia raised a daughter. Like, I think she just put 20 on 10 with that one, y'all. I truly do think that. And it just made her look dumb, in my opinion, dumber than she already looks, Phaedra, on this show. I really do. But that's really all I gotta say about this scene, y'all. And then Porsha, PJ, and Lauren. What do I even have to say about this? They're all at Porsha's house. one, Porsha, are you actually really going to do this podcast and this additional kids YouTube channel with BJ and actually stick with it? Because she's another one that got up on here on YouTube and started a channel and has since went MIA. So are you actually going to stick with that? Is number one. And number two, anyway. And two, this is just the normal banter that I feel like we get between Porsha and Dennis anyway, because I do feel like things really changed when it came to Dennis for Porsha. I do feel like he really did hurt her and really did strike a chord in her that just, yeah, like she's been seeing red ever since when it came to that. I do think that that's who she really wanted to be with, and he probably knows he messed up or whatever, and whatever. Like I do think that that's why we continue to come back to this place when it comes to them. You gotta tighten this up and stuff like that. You was looking like rough in my opinion, but whatever. This is just going to keep happening between them. So I really I didn't even allow it to get me worked up or for me to really even sit there and dissect it. Y'all are going to continue to have these issues because of how you guys got to this place and because all of the side characters and just the different elements that make up y'all's co-parenting relationship. Torin, it was good to see Torin. Haven't seen him since Candy and the Gang, right? That was cool. Nice to see he's, still doing his thing and stuff like that. Again, we get another glimpse of Porsha's house in this scene and stuff. They're trying to turn the pool house, it looks like, into this studio or whatever. So yeah, I really don't look like she's trying to move out there anytime soon, y'all. She doing renovations and shit. Like, anyway, whatever. So yeah, I guess only time will tell on whether or not she actually gets this up off the ground and it actually works. But I ain't fooling. I ain't paying her or Dennis no mind when it comes to this, because this is just them. Okay. And then the final scene we get, y'all, Pinky finally tells Derek about her wanting to file bankruptcy, and he's completely like, well, what, huh? Offers to give her the money, says he's going to give her the money. She declines. Already told you how I felt about that. I'm not going to continue to beat a dead horse with this one, y'all, because I don't agree with how she's navigating this, but it's her marriage, not mine. So she's going to do what she wants to do at the end of the day. But I do think something is misaligned, like something is off there. And am I the only person that kind of, when she was like, oh yeah, I ain't no quitter, and he was like, oh yeah, we know that. Y'all gonna say I'm doing the most, so I don't even feel like I should finish the sentence, but I don't know. When she said that, I just kind of like, I don't know. I felt some bit of, I don't know. I read something a little off with that. And I guess what I mean is, like, he knows that she's the type of person that's going to keep trying to fix something and stick with something, even when it doesn't serve her necessarily, or when it's not in her best interest. Like, she's going to, try until the wheels fall off. Is that what he just said in the scene too? Like, he's with her for the long run or whatever, until the wheels fall off? I don't know. I just don't know between them, y'all. Again, if I was her, I would gladly take that $5 million and dry my tears and do what I had to do at the end of the day. I really do feel like that's what you should be able to do when you are with a person, when you are united with a person and stuff like that. You are supposed to be able to come to them, and you're supposed to be able to receive support from them. And if I was him, again, I would have been way more pissed that she didn't come to me and tell me first, because he does ask her, he's like, who else knows about this or whatever. And production shows us everybody she has been so open with when it comes to this situation, when it comes to this issue. Like, we would have some serious issues about that. But that's what makes me think maybe this is being done as not even just a storyline, but just, again, to make sure that those individuals, those plaintiffs, are knowing that his business, his money, like everything that he has going on is separate from what she has going on. So they don't try to go after that too. That's the only thing I can think of that would make me be like, oh, okay, I get it now. Looking over my notes to make sure there's nothing else. I think that's really it, y'all. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know what you guys think of this episode, last episode, your thoughts on this season so far. Do you agree with some of my points? Do you disagree? Keep it cute if you do. I'd love to talk about it in the comments. Shout outs to my people who came through for me in the chat. If you watch us on the replay, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Follow me on my socials, of course. As always, y'all, I appreciate you all being here. Shout outs to, again, who's going to watch us on the replay. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.